Hey, at least Ivan Demidov set up Patrick Laine on the power play, right? That's the only good thing we can take away from yesterday, right? Alright, so earlier yesterday morning, we made a video on this YouTube channel talking about Canadiens' 5th overall pick, David Reinbacher, and that was a conversation comparing Reinbacher to other top prospects who were drafted in the top 10 or near the top of the draft in general. There was a pretty interesting discussion when you think about some of the other names that were taken in Reinbacher's draft range, and ultimately the question was, is it time to worry? There were a bunch of responses, a bunch of folks giving their thoughts in the comments section, which is very much appreciated, and there was a general sense of optimism that I felt, scrolling through the comments and reading what was going on. Hey, he's super young, he's still developing, and he had a bunch of time lost due to injuries. He'll be fine. Right? But, yeah, that video was made yesterday morning. The game the Montreal Canadiens played yesterday was later in the afternoon against Toronto, and I think now it's time to worry, folks. Not just about David Reinbacher, but about everybody else too, because yesterday's game against Toronto was a big defeat for Montreal, 7-2, and you had yourselves some injuries. Firstly, you had Kaiden Guhle getting scratched mysteriously before the game began. A lot of folks were expecting him to play, but then all of a sudden the lines came out and it was like, wait a minute, where is he? Why is he not there? And then there was some reporting going on saying that he was late for practice, and maybe Kaiden Guhle getting late for practice is what caused him to get scratched, who really knows? But that's not actually what happened, though. Keep Kaiden Guhle in the back of your mind as we continue in the events of yesterday. The game was played. The Habs didn't do too well on the score sheet, but who cares? It's the preseason. Whatever. Scott Laughton gets 2 goals in the first 10 minutes of the game. Who really cares, right? But eventually, by the time the third period comes around, fans are starting to freak out. Because at the start of the third, Noah Dobson was not on the Habs bench. There also were some folks going out there and complaining about Noah Dobson's compete level, lack of grit, lack of intensity, and defensive liabilities. And you also had David Reinbacher ending up leaving the bench as well, leaving a lot of fans in even more disbelief. This is what Habs Chronicle went out there and said last year the Habs lost Laine and Reinbacher to injury versus the Leafs in the preseason. This year, the Habs lost Dobson and Reinbacher to injury versus the Leafs in the preseason. Hopefully both are just minor injuries, and they don't come back preventatively. Now, after the game, there were some follow-ups here. Eric Engels went out there and said that Dobson and Guhle are both day-to-day with groin injuries, and Reinbacher is being evaluated. A reply from Matt asks, how does Guhle have a groin injury when he was scratched for being late to practice? Did he injure it before or after sitting down in the press box? You then had some clarification. Renaud Lavoie clarified his earlier statement that Guhle was late for practice because of his injury. So, yeah. Montreal, eh? Dobson, Guhle, Reinbacher, all getting taken out at relatively the same time? For what it's worth, Martin St. Louis did comment on the injuries to all 3 of these guys, saying, I don't think it's serious stuff, so I'm not too worried about it. And I will say, even though the coach is going out there and saying, yeah, I'm not worried, they'll be fine, essentially trying to calm down Montreal Canadiens fans, I still do think that there are a number of folks that are not going to allow themselves to fully be complacent with these injuries here. I think there's a lot of pessimism that Montreal Canadiens fans have started to feel about this situation, saying things like, hey, wait a minute, these guys, I mean, it's been so many injuries for David Reinbacher already. How are we going to go out there and believe that he is going to be okay this time around? He already missed out on so much time last year with injury. Now he's being kept out for reasons unknown? Dobson, Guhle, these guys are day-to-day with groin injuries? How do they both get the same thing at the same time? And I know, it's day to day. So technically, by the time this video is up on YouTube on the morning of the 26th, things could change. It's very well possible. I don't know if it's likely to change, but it is possible. It's just, for Montreal Canadiens fans to have watched this team and to see the tribulations that the Habs go through every year with injuries, seeing the same guys getting hurt in the same way, what's next? Is Kirby Dach going to get hurt again too? Are we going to see another one of these redemption stories get fully taken away from our claws because of another freak accident or another play on the boards? I mean, Kirby Dach, somebody wrap that guy in bubble wrap while he's still here. For David Reinbacher in particular, I've been seeing a lot more of a doom and gloom sentiment from Montreal Canadiens fans centered around him. Wait a minute, this guy got hurt again. Oh, he's a 5th overall pick and he's going to take even more time to potentially develop and become good. This was a bad pick from the start. Oh, la-di-da. And to be fair, I fully understand that this player is still young, and all the arguments that we brought up from prior conversations are still there. He still does have that projection. But the opposite perspective is still fair. Mark Dumont tweeted this out after the game. Hopefully David Reinbacher is okay, and it was just a scare. It's starting to become worrisome how often he has to deal with health issues at such a young age. To be clear, I'm not worried about the Habs, but rather the person. Can't be easy from a mental health standpoint either. And the amount of folks that have responded to this tweet and the Reinbacher discourse on social media talking about whether or not it's actually reasonable to trade this guy or to move on from him, now we are starting to see that pop up a lot more. And it's kind of interesting because just yesterday we made a video about this guy before he got hurt, before this entire cycle repeated itself all over again. So, with all this in mind, I'm going to ask you, fully knowing, by the way, that this could be outdated, I'm recording this audio the night of Thursday, the 25th, so by the time it's uploaded on YouTube, the morning of the 26th, who knows, there could be an injury update, we could already know what's going on, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe there are already reports saying that these guys are good to go and that they'll be fine. But I'm going to take that risk anyway and upload this video. Because as I had said in yesterday's Detroit Red Wings post-game commentary, I didn't watch Montreal-Toronto yesterday because I was hanging out with the folks on the Grindline podcast. I was making a guest appearance on their show, so I had, of course, the Detroit Red Wings game going on in the background. Plus, I saw Montreal was getting smoked, so I was like, yeah, I kind of don't really think I need to watch that one now, right? So with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the David Reinbacher, Kaiden Guhle, Noah Dobson situation, how all three of these guys ended up getting hurt on the same day in the worst possible way, and much to the dismay of Montreal Canadiens fans? Is it just the Habs' gosh darn luck striking again, or is this not that big of a deal? You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Likes are very greatly appreciated if you enjoyed this video. If you did not enjoy this video, then hey, feel free to hit that dislike button. Also, comments help us out with the algorithm, so I appreciate that very, very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Roll 9, and bye.